Think about this for a second. You have USDT sitting inside your crypto account, but suddenly you want an exposure towards Nvidia stock. Normally, those are two completely different worlds. Crypto exchange over there and stockbroker over there. Different balances, different infrastructure, and traditionally completely different system. But what happens when that wall suddenly starts disappearing? Because right now in the market, one of the most interesting change isn't meme coin in the market, but there is something much bigger. Real world assets are increasingly moving towards tokenized infrastructure, and stocks are particularly interesting because this could change how crypto native users interact with traditional markets. So imagine staying inside a crypto system using a USDT but accessing economic exposure linked to companies such as Tesla, Nvidia, Microsoft, or even ETFs. And no, I'm not saying that buying these tokens is exactly same as owning a stock and getting registered under the shareholder inside their brokerage system through a traditional stockbroker and all that. That distinction is extremely important. What we're talking about is tokenized stock exposure, and that's exactly how I'm going to show in this video how it's actually going to work. And that brings us to today's case study. This video is sponsored by Bitget. One of the products inside Bitget Stock 2.0 ecosystem is called rToken. But instead of simply telling you here's another new trading feature, I want to make sure that we understand the product completely. What exactly is an rToken? How does it work? And what actually are you getting exposure towards? And most importantly, how different is it from just buying a simple normal stock? Let's break it down. Let's start with the most important question. What exactly is rToken? So Bitget rToken, also referred to as Bitget stock token, and it is designed to provide tokenized economic exposure linked to selected US stocks and ETFs. The product is issued through the Reality protocol and made available in Bitget's ecosystem. Each supported rToken corresponds towards a specific stock or ETF, and the naming system is quite simple. For an example, take any traditional stock or ETF and add just one letter in front like R. For example, Tesla becomes R Tesla, and Nvidia becomes R Nvidia, and Microsoft becomes R Microsoft. So instead of converting your crypto into fiat and then moving into the traditional brokerage environment, eligible users can access supported stock using the USDT in the Bitget application. But this next part is probably one of the most important thing to understand in this entire video. For example, buying R Nvidia is not necessarily the same thing as buying an Nvidia stock in a traditional brokerage system. rToken is designed to provide an economic exposure linked towards corresponding underlying asset. So if you are looking at R Nvidia, you're looking at a product which is designed to reflect Nvidia linked economic exposure. But holding that rToken does not really mean that your name will be reflected in the token shareholder lists, and you don't generally receive a conventional shareholding rights. And that's why I would describe the concept like this: economic exposure to the stock without treating itself as an identical conventional registered share ownership. That distinction matters. So what's happening behind the scenes? So I would just divide it under the three layers. First, the issuance layer. Reality protocol issues the rTokens that are designed to represent the economic exposure to the selected US stocks or ETFs. Second, the underlying market layer. Each rToken is linked to a corresponding underlying asset such as Tesla, Microsoft, or Nvidia. And third, Bitget acts as a trading and utility layer. Bitget makes supported rToken available through its ecosystem, allowing eligible users to buy, sell, or manage these assets using USDT. So conceptually, you can think about the structure as underlying US stock or ETF and tokenized representation, and then accessing through the Bitget's ecosystem. Now we get to the interesting part. Why would someone in crypto actually care about this? The answer is flexibility. Crypto market and traditional market historically operate differently. Different infrastructure, different settlement systems, and different currencies, and moreover, different platforms. Tokenized stock products attempt to reduce this separation. Instead of thinking I have crypto capital over there and I have stock market over there, the idea is to make traditional stock market exposure closer towards crypto market system. With rToken, the supported products are traded against USDT, and according to the individual product rules, the trading hours might differ. So that's why always read the product rules. But this is important. It doesn't mean that every rToken may have the availability of 24/7 trading. Trading hours, liquidity, and product availability can vary. Then there is another question: what happens with the dividends? According to the product rules, eligible dividends may be distributed to the R token products using the USDT to the R token holders after applicable deduction, taxes, and withholding. Corporate actions can also matter. Things like stock splits, reverse splits, mergers, or other supported corporate actions may be reflected according to the product specific rules. But don't assume every event is handled identically, and this is why reading individual product rules matters before taking a position. And this is where concept starts going beyond simply buying and selling stock linked tokens. According to Bitget, supported R tokens may also have utility across parts of its broader ecosystem. Eligible products may potentially be usable in areas such as margin, collateral, lending, futures, copy trading, or strategy related tools, depending on the specific product and account eligibility. The idea here is capital efficiency. Instead of asset simply sitting completely away from your crypto assets, supported R tokens may have additional utilities inside the Bitget platform. But there is another side to that. Using an asset as margin or collateral introduces additional risk. If the value of R token falls, that can potentially affect margin levels, borrowing capacity, or liquidation risk. So additional utility does not remove the risk. In some situation, it can actually introduce additional layers to it. There's another naming confusion which is worth clearing up. R token is not BGB. They are completely different products with completely different purposes. The easiest way to remember is R token expands what eligible users can trade. BGB expands what users potentially unlock within Bitget's broader ecosystem. R token is focused on tokenized exposure for the stock or ETFs. BGB is Bitget's ecosystem token. Different assets, different function, but the same broader ecosystem. And then we have another distinction: R token versus Bitget's stock plus. They shouldn't be automatically treated as the same thing earlier. R token is the crypto native route of having a tokenized exposure towards a stock. Stock plus is positioned more like a traditional stock trading infrastructure within the Bitget's broader ecosystem. Stock plus provides more traditional access to the stock market regarding a traditional stock market access. Different products for the different use cases. Now here's where this gets even more interesting. This isn't happening in an isolation. Tokenized equities have been attracting increasing attention across the broader real world asset market, and according to the figures reported in July 2026, Bitget said R token had already recorded hundreds of millions of dollars in cumulative trading volume shortly after launch. One particularly interesting example was the SpaceX tokenized asset. According to those reported figures, RSPCX, which is SpaceX, represented the largest share of R token assets at that time, followed by products including RCSCO and NVIDIA. Now those numbers can change quickly, so don't interpret historical trading volume as an evidence that a specific tokenized token will perform the same in the future. Now instead of talking this only theoretically, I want you to jump into the platform and I'll be showing you using my screen recording. So right now I am inside Bitget application. So over here there are many features which you can see, but at the bottom of the screen there are features such as home, markets, trade, trade 5, and assets. Obviously first thing what we're going to do is we're going towards the market section, and over here we have explore, favorites, crypto, and stock. So if you go into the stock section, we will be getting these stock plus features. Now what we're going to do over here is go towards trade section. So once you come into the bottom screen of the trade, this is where things are going to change. Now under the spot section, we will choose an asset. It can be BTC/USDT as you can see on the screen. So once we just tap on that BTC/USDT for an example, now we will just go into the stocks button right now. So once you just tap on stocks button, for me right now the trading stock or the issued tokenized stocks over here is NVIDIA and Tesla. Remember one thing, they have multiple tokenized corresponding US stocks and ETF. You can see the screenshot on the screen regarding those listed assets. The reason why it is showing just NVIDIA and Tesla is simple. It depends on the regional availability. For different regions, different stocks will be enabled. So for example, if I just tap on NVIDIA over here, it will give me this interface. I can buy NVIDIA and I can sell NVIDIA, and I can use multiple features such as limit order and market order, and I can adjust the price and I can enter the the quantity. Everything is going to be super simple, and this is how we can simply buy or sell R token from the Bitget application. Once you buy any listed R token, it will be shown in the spot section under your assets, like how it is shown over here. But since I haven't purchased yet, I just wanted to show you this is where it will be shown under the spot section regarding the listed R tokens. And let me give you a big disclaimer over here. This video is made only for the educational purposes. So before buying or selling R token or crypto assets or stock assets, make sure you consult your own financial advisor. This video should only be treated as an educational content. Before using something like this, there are several things every user should check. First, understand what you are actually holding. Second, check the trading hours. Some products have broader trading hours, some products have narrow trading hours, so always read the product rules and description. Third, check liquidity and spreads. And fourth, understanding fees, dividends, and corporate taking actions. And fifth, if you're using R tokens as collateral or through margin related products, understand how price movements could affect your overall account risk. Tokenization can change the infrastructure, but it doesn't eliminate the market risk. Forget Bitget for a second, forget individual stocks for a second as well, but understand what is happening structurally. For years, crypto and traditional finance systems were treated as two different worlds, but tokenization is slowly creating a bridge between them. We've already seen tokenization expand into areas such as government securities, funds, commodities, and other real-world assets. Now we are seeing more experimentations around equities. And if this infrastructure continues developing, the question might eventually change from should I use crypto or traditional markets to how much of traditional finance can eventually operate through digital asset infrastructure. That's a much bigger conversation than any token. So coming back into the Bitget R token, the concept is relatively straightforward. But remember, R token is not the same thing as owning the shareholding in the traditional stock market infrastructure. And always remember, underlying market risk are always existing. So if you are interested in this sector, don't simply ask which token can I buy. Ask the more important question, such as what exactly does this token represent? Because as more real world assets move on chain, understanding the structure behind these products is going to become increasingly important. And that's the educational takeaway I wanted to give you in this video. If you want to learn more about Bitget R token, the related information and the links to the official links is given under the video description. Make sure you check them out. Thanks to Bitget for sponsoring today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.